So I talk a lot about sensory awareness of the ground and how that can change your tests, the PRI test that people do, and these PRI tests really reflect movement of the joints, ranges of motion, but also the overall state of someone's body, whether they're resting in tension or whether they are in a more relaxed state. And so what I'm going to show is someone testing that I did with someone today, and then I put them into a position in which they're going to sense the ground differently, and they're going to sense their body differently, and you'll see that their tests now change. Now, this is someone who I've worked with in the past. I just haven't worked with her in quite some time. So I kind of knew what I was going to have going in. I wasn't sure. I knew she would be limited in some areas. I thought her pelvis might be neutral, because sometimes it is. It wasn't, but when you see the pelvis test, the adduction drop test of the left leg, you'll see that it pretty much does adduct, but there is restriction, so it doesn't go all the way down. But someone with a really positive test, that leg won't go anywhere, but you'll kind of see. So this person, she is interesting because she'll have back pain, but sometimes she'll feel amazing and sometimes she won't. And I mean, there were times where she'd have back pain. We'd do a particular technique and her back pain would go away immediately. Other times we'd do something, and this was usually during like group workouts, kind of like a small group session that I had. And sometimes nothing was working for her. And what she never told me was that she grinds her teeth at night. Now, whenever I see that things aren't working for someone, I'm always suspicious of the cranium. So we had her eyes checked out, she got her vision checked, she did need glasses. But bite-wise, everything seemed normal from what I remember, but she never told me that she ground her teeth. Maybe I never asked, but I was hoping she would. I just assumed, because I know her pretty well and I knew her before PRI. So I just assumed that maybe she would have mentioned that. But at any rate, she needs to get a splint made to stop grinding at night. And so she just wanted me to retest her and then kind of explain the process for what she was going to need to do. So I went to her house this morning and this is what I found. So here you're first going to see her. Notice she does not have shoes on. And I will then put her into shoes, but you'll just see her testing. I'm just going to narrate as it goes along. So here you see she is being, this is the adduction drop test, left leg. I'm stabilizing her hip. It does adduct, but it doesn't cross midline. So it's going down, it's not hanging in the air, but it's not really going, it's still a positive test, but it's not like a bony block to it, like a bony end feel. It's just not gonna go all the way down. There's restriction, there's soft tissue restriction. This is right shoulder internal rotation, and she's limited to about 45 degrees. Not bad, but still limited. All I did was stabilize her right shoulder and rotate her hand down towards the mat, and it didn't go. Horizontal, you're not gonna be able to see this completely, but she's pretty good with this. She's probably about 50 to 60, I'd say like 50 degrees, which is usually a negative test in a good way. Left shoulder you can't even see, but she's pretty much all the way down. Her neck will not side bend to the right. It does a little bit, like 10 degrees, and that's where it stops right there. And now to the left, it goes much further. And that's what I want, and she noticed as that. Now here, I'm just checking to see if she has a curve in her neck, which she does, and you saw her chin kind of move up. Now this will be right leg abduction, and she is limited. There it goes, that's about it. Not terrible, but it's limited. A right leg that can't abduct, it's gonna be one of two things. She lacks glute strength. She just does not have the ability to abduct very well with her right glute. But it also, the more advanced way of looking at it is neurologically, she is tied to her right leg. That is a body that doesn't want to let go of the right side. All right. And I'm going to give her a little bit of more right. I'm going to keep this video rolling simply because I don't want anyone to think that I did anything other than what I did with her. So I'm just giving her a little bit more right arch. so that she can sense. If you cannot abduct that right leg, which she could, well, she has some abduction, but it's limited. If you cannot abduct that right leg, it's usually because they cannot sense the arch of the right foot. If they cannot, which means the arch of the right foot means the ground underneath the arch on the right, underneath the right foot. Same thing with shoulder internal rotation. You'll be limited in shoulder internal rotation when you're not sensing the ground underneath the arch of the right foot. Now she's putting it in. She's going to put her shoes on. Eventually. So in order to disengage the right side of the body, you need to sense the arch of the right foot neurologically for everything to relax so you can push to the left. And those tests are just showing that she is still stuck. She is in a left AIC, right BC pattern. She is still neurologically stuck on she is oriented to the right. That's where her brain wants to keep her for some reason. Now I know it's coming from here, so does she. But so we are now going to override that pattern. So I am putting her into left stance. She likes to lock out her knee on the left side, so I was making sure that she kept her left knee slightly bent. That's how she stabilizes the left side of her body, is through locking the left knee, which extends her back and turns on her flexors, and now she's back in her pattern. Now if you look at her left hip, it's stuck out a little bit too much. I didn't really like how she was doing that. There you go. And she fixed it. Good. Now I just had her bring her right hip slightly forward. Now she's sensing her left heel and the arch of her right foot, and I'm grounding her on the left side. And look at her eye. She's trying to figure out what she's feeling right now. And this is something I do with everybody, so it's not just with her. The only times this will not make changes to tests is if there's something seriously going on with vision or teeth. But even then, you can still make it work. You just had to know how to manipulate it. Now just making her sense that she's grounded on the left side and her torso, her sternum, is rotating to the right. And I had to have her acknowledge that. If you're doing something mindlessly, it's not going to work. People have to, I'm making her experience her body in a different way. Has nothing to do with her muscles. Obviously it does, but all right, we're done. Remember, this was a body experience. That's what PRI techniques, they are body experiences, not exercises. And it goes all the way down. She now adducts. We know her pelvis is neutral. Shoulder, neck, all right? Her neck will now go to the right, and she feels that big time. She felt that quite a bit. Shoulder internal rotation. She had 45, now she's all the way down. She's at 90. This now goes down to almost the floor, like 80, 90 degrees. She's saying she felt no restriction whatsoever. She had no restriction whatsoever. That's what she was saying. And now abduction of the right leg. And it goes up much higher. She kind of helped out, so I had her not help out. And you'll see, now she has true abduction of that right leg. And that's it. So what that is showing, all I did, does not mean she's stable, and it doesn't even mean it's going to stick. And I know it's not going to stick because her teeth are going to override it. She's going to grind at night, and she's going to override whatever we just did. So that when she grinds her teeth, she's going to cause neck tension, jaw tension, neck tension, and that neck tension will pull her back up again, will increase the arch in her back. It will introduce more sympathetic fight or flight tension into her body, and it will override everything we just did. So we could do that every single day. Get her neutral. We could do the techniques. She'll get stronger. She'll start to stabilize her pelvis better. But the problem is she'll keep every night she goes to bed and she's grinding. That grinding of the teeth, creating the tension in her body overall, will override all the good that we can do. So again, all I was doing, I just took someone from a left AIC, right BC pattern into neutrality just by having them sense what? The ground on the left. They disengaged the right side of their body, sensed ground on the left side, and their body went from a state of tension to more relaxation. All those ranges of motion changed, and all it's really showing is that she is now no longer a rightward oriented body sensing the ground on the right side. She is now a neutral body that will be able to, gives you ability to shift from side to side, but that is not treatment, that just unlocked her. Then you have to do the techniques and retrain, neurologically retrain the ability to shift into your left side, stabilize, go back to the right side, stabilize, go back to the left side, stabilize, without getting stuck back on the right side. And that's alternating, that's walking, while breathing, without using your neck to breathe, okay? So that's all that showed, and that was the only point of that. All I did was put her in left stance, sense the ground differently, her body relaxed. That's what neutrality is. You do not need exercises or techniques to establish neutrality. It's all perceptual. We change the input, we change the sensory input into her brain that her brain then used to change her muscular output. Trying to work on a muscle directly. If she had gone into a physical therapy clinic and they had maybe tested internal rotating, they're saying, oh, that right shoulder's tight, let's massage it, let's stretch it. There's nothing to stretch. It's neurological, it's her brain. It's always the brain. So that's all I wanted to show. I'm not gonna get into it too much more than that. And that is how the neurological aspect of PRI works. And of course, neurological aspect is not just an aspect, it's kind of the whole thing, because you can't have muscles without neurology. So there you go. Hope you thought that was interesting, and that's that.